I said this on Saturday, and I mean this. The Democratic Party has shown us that they are committed to faux centrism, because Bernie Sanders actually is a centrist, but they're trying to label Bernie Sanders and his wing as the hard left. The Democratic Party is committed to faux centrism, which is actually rightism. They're on the right. And ultimately, all this concern about pushing the Democratic Party to the left, forget about it. Forget about it. It's done. It's dead on arrival. Push their asses to the right. Push them to the Republican Party needs to go off of a cliff. Donald Trump is the perfect person, the perfect president to take the Republican Party off the cliff. And all the people who remain will be the people who were basically the same as Hillary Clinton Democrats. Let them merge and become their idea of a centrist party, which is actually far right. Let them do that. But in the void on the left, there has to be some representation. There has to be a movement. There has to be a party being built. There has to be, and it may take some time. Let's be real. It really could take every bit of 30 years to make this happen. So if we're not committed to the long game, then we're not committed to actually making this happen. But not 30 years of talking and thinking, not even 5 years of talking and thinking, not even a year of talking and thinking. Hit the streets right now. Make the phone calls right now. Go door to door right now. Umar, the caller, said he printed up flyers. Print up your flyers now. Because there are enough people. If you look at the ratings, the approval polls of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, they're like in the low 30s. There are more people who identify as independent than any other party. And so there is a silent majority out there that doesn't believe in either party. The only question is, what percentage of that silent majority actually have leftist values, have progressive values, actually see someone like Bernie Sanders as pretty moderate? That's what we need to find out. And we're not going to find out just talking about it. We will find out by canvassing, going door to door. We should be trying to register 1 million people between now and 2018. The resources are being gathered, organizations are being built, and if the resources are there, let's do it. If it's not there, start a crowdfund. Let's do it, because there has to be some representation of leftist politics in the American spectrum. Because if you think, and if you saw the clip about Alan Dershowitz,
look, I wish that Perez hadn't appointed Ellison to any position in the Democratic Party, but I'm going to stay in the Democratic Party and work to try to move it toward the center, to try to move it away from the hard left, to try to move it away from its twist toward opposition to Israel and toward American values. It's going to be an uphill fight, but I'm there to fight.
If you think Alan Dershowitz represents what the furthest left on the American political spectrum should be, then we are going so fast into the arms of fascism. It's not even funny. Far right fascism. It's not even funny. To that end, we shouldn't waste any more time. Sure. Here's the other part of the equation. Here's the last part of the equation. Donald Trump can serve as a galvanizing tool. However, there are more people who look at the Democratic Party and say, yeah, Trump is a piece of crap, but the Democratic Party is a piece of crap, too. That's why the Democratic Party's approval ratings are lower than Donald Trump's. That being said, the solution is not for us to defeat Trump and pass them over to the hands of the Democratic Party. The solution is defeat Trump and pass them over to the hands of, you fill in the blank, but a proper representation of the left values in America, of progressive values in America. And part of the calculus has to be our ability to beat Donald Trump and fight Donald Trump better than the Democrats even want to, let alone their capacity to actually fight against Trump, right? Because they don't really have the if Chelsea Clinton is what they think, if they think Chelsea Clinton represents a threat to Donald Trump on Twitter, and they feel like even like Twitter is the realm that we have to beat Donald Trump, that entire thought process shows you how feckless the Democratic Party has quickly become. They are not competent enough to actually beat Donald Trump. And so we have to show them how to do it, but not to pass anybody over to the Democratic Party who will continue to be feckless on purpose, who will continue to stay in the arms of corporate lobbyists on purpose, who will continue grooming people like Chelsea Clinton to replace Hillary Clinton, because if the most important thing to the Democratic Party is that Clintonism survives. There's no way in hell we should beat Donald Trump rhetorically, electorally, or otherwise, and pass them over to the Democratic Party. No, that means there has to be an infrastructure in place, and that means there has to be organizing, there has to be funding, there has to be all sorts of things, boots on the ground, canvassing door to door, email lists generated, email lists utilized, everything has to be in play, or else we're just going to be talking about it for the next 4 years. And every single person under the sound of my voice, you have the capacity and the wherewithal to help make this happen. At this point, I don't think it really matters if you say, go with the Green Party, go with this party. I don't really think it matters. I think what matters is who is going to rise to the top. Who's going to rise to the top and take the initiative and be that voice and be that platform. And when we see them as they rise, don't wait till they get there. As you see them as they rise, jump in there and do everything you can to help them rise. Because if we don't get some representation of the left in American politics, we're going to always be dealing with people like Chelsea Clinton and Alan Dershowitz and Tom Perez and all the rest of the people who are directly responsible for bringing you Donald Trump in the first place.